morning, everyone. And happy Veterans Day. We could not be more excited to have so many of you here with us this morning, especially given the weather, right? And in fact, I was worried that maybe our guest speaker wouldn't make it this morning, but he was up bright and early and ready to brave the snow because he wasn't going to miss us. So we are so honored to have you with us here this morning. Today we observe the federal holiday honoring our veterans. So as some of you may know, sorry, my phone just did a little something there, so I apologize. As some of you may know, Veterans Day started out as Armistice Day, which is a day set aside to honor the veterans of World War I. The armistice, which halted the hostilities of World War I, was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. The celebration was that commemorated the end of that war, which we all thought would be the war to end all wars. In 1954, after World War II and the conflict in Korea, President Dwight D. Eisenhower issued the first Veterans Day proclamation and gave us an opportunity to honor all of our veterans from all American wars and everyone in current service. So today, we are proud to honor our over 200 veteran students and our almost 100 veteran employees, as well as welcome just a jewel who can tell us stories from World War II. I don't want to steal the thunder, who'll be introduced in a minute, but why don't we start out then, as veterans would, with the Pledge of Allegiance. So I'd like to call Keith McKeefer up for the pledge.
Take your hat off. Keep my hat on.
I should be surprised that a bunch of veterans are already standing, but if everybody in the room please stand and face the flag, put your hand over your heart, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You can be seated. Murray here has given me a couple minutes to talk. I'm a volunteer with Prayer Flight. Been helping with that for 4 or 5 years. Lose track after some time. If you don't know, Greater Honor Flight is one of the hubs of the National Honor Flight system. We take veterans to DC free of charge, completely free for the veteran. The Guardian company that's $500 for them out of their pocket. But we have sent 22 flights of about 70 each. We've sent a lot of guys and women from the Greater Peoria area here. We're always looking for donations. Get you information on that. If you're interested in signing up as a veteran, we are actively looking for World War II and Korea veterans first, terminally ill, and then into Vietnam. We have about 1,200 on the list for Vietnam, so it's a few years before we work our way through that. But the younger generation, like myself and some of you here, if you're interested in it, go ahead and sign up, because like I said, it's going to be a few years, and it's a great experience. I've been 6 times to DC, seen all the memorials. It's an amazing day. So if you're interested in that, you can just go to greatervictoriahonorflight.org. You can sign up as a veteran, guardian, or volunteer there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm veteran Karl's daughter. In the early years of ICC, Dad was an independent contractor carpenter. He installed professional, commercial-grade weather stripping to all of ICC's exterior doors. In 2017, the blueprints he used were donated to ICC's library archives. On November 10th, 1775, the U.S. Marines were born. Yesterday was their 244-year birthday. During our grown-up years, Dad will share bits and pieces about his war experiences. Right before his 80th birthday in 2004, he began sharing much more of his time in the Pacific during World War II. This included Guadalcanal, Guam, and Iwo Jima. He enlisted as a Marine and continues to be a Marine to this very day. So, what is the United States Marines and what is their function? U stands for uncommonly brave. S, sacrificing for others. M, mentally prepared. A, able in body and deed. R, resourcefully skilled. I, in wartime and peace. And no challenge too great. E, ever ready to serve. S, safeguarding our country. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battle in the air, on the land, and sea. It is with much love, honor, and gratitude to present my dad to you, Corporal Karl J. Schmidt, 3rd Division, 9th Regiment, Headquarters, R2.
Want me to start?
Huh?
Want me to start?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I just want to introduce myself to David Dentelman. I'm a retired Air Force nurse, and humbling to be sitting on the stage with Mr. Schmidt today and his daughter Becky. They asked me to just be up here to just help guide the discussion. So many stories inside Karl's mind. So I just want to encourage you, if you have the time afterwards, please stop by, shake his hand, pat him on the back, thank him for his service. But look at some of the memorabilia up here and pick his mind. It's truly a national treasure right in front of you today. So humbling to be up here and be a part of it. So we'll start by asking Mr. Schmidt, why did you join the Marines?
Well, the main thing I joined, I'm going to be because I like the uniforms the best. I want to go for class. That's why I joined. It's a poor excuse, pretty good. Yeah.
When was that?
Back in '43. Yeah. I told them I wanted to join the Marine Corps, and they was go and talk to that sergeant. They're only taking 6 Marines a day, so I got over and I was number 4 for the day. And that's all they took. Only more 6 they took, but I was number 4.
Where did you enter their service? Where was that?
To call that mean, San Diego, California.
All right. And what was your job in the Marine Corps?
Well, when I got there, after I got out basic training, the next thing I knew, they were sending me. They sent me to intelligence school, and I said, "Well, I just got out of school. What's the matter?" And he said, no, you're gonna be a spy. I said, spy? Never heard of that before. He said, no, you'll be well trained, don't worry. So I didn't, but when I was with the general, I'd be with the general there in Guadalcanal every day of the week. But if your buddies ask, what are you doing with the general every day in his office? Tell him you're doing office work. And I said, I don't know nothing about office work. He said, I don't either, so just tell him anything. So I did. So then, what they did, they sent me and a Japanese interpreter. They sent us by submarine on the other side of Guam. And we landed there about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning in a rubber raft. We got all our stuff in there. And then also while I was going to intelligence school, I had to learn semaphore, and I had to learn Morse code. So about every third night, a submarine would surface up. And I would flash with a light in Morse code what went on for that day for 3 days there. And this one day, this other fellow was with me. They went to Japanese school, and he can understand it, Japanese, and write it and listen and talk it. So he told me. So then, when I told the general that in about 2 weeks, the Japanese were going to be reinforced by 20,000 Japs. So he relayed that on to the general, and he, in turn, relayed that on to the head of the Pacific Admiral. Oh, I can't think of his name right now, but anyway, they stopped the Japs from landing for reinforcement, which would have made a big difference. So and then when I was on Guam there, I had to learn how to use a compass and everything for making maps. That was my main idea, was to make maps for the re-invasion of coming back to Guam to take it over. I had a stack of maybe about 100 maps I made, those joints. And so when I got back to Guadalcanal, I started making bigger maps. And I would take them to the company commanders and then put a piece of plastic over the top of them so they wouldn't keep them from getting all wet and fading out. And then we just went from there to there on those maps that I made. So it was a scary time, I'll tell you. You got 20,000 Japs on one side, and you're like 2 of us on the other side. Boy, that's spooky.
There's a note on here about your dog tags. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, my dog tags, I know them yet, A50602. My dog tags, I can't understand. I got bronze dog tags, and I've never seen bronze dog tags on anybody. All the services and where they came from, how I got bronze. I don't know how I ever got the bronze dog tags. I have no way. But it's just something different nobody else has got. And why they picked me out, I don't know. I never did find out. So
You talked a little bit about Guam and Iwo
Yeah.
Jima, but what was the significance of Iwo Jima during World War II?
Well, the main thing was there wasn't anything growing on the Iwo. It was all sand and dirt because it was bombed. That island was bombed by the Army, Air Force, and the Navy for 72 days in a row. And we didn't know they had all them tunnels underneath of the island. The whole island was dug out with tunnels. They go down one place and come up behind you, and we didn't know that till about a week later. So this one day I'm out going around. I usually worked at nighttime to get information. I'd be watching first because there was no water whatsoever on Iwo. Everything was shipped in. All water was brought in. And my idea was to watch at nighttime, so if the Japanese were trying to come down and get our water and our food, then I'd have to bring them into the general, which I brought a couple of them in that way. But the only 2 words I remembered in Japanese were susume and nairu. Now, nairu means lie down, and then Susu Me means forward march. So as long as I could remember those 2 words, I didn't have no problem getting them back to the command post, and then they can interpret them, that there. So then when I got this one guy back there, the general said, you know, their general told them that they have to kill 10 Marines before they get killed. So I said to the general, well, how many do we have to kill? He said, oh, take your time, it's open season.
So on Iwo Jima too, the airfields were very strategic for us during World War II.
Yeah, they needed those because bombers would have no protection. They had to fly right over Iwo, going to Tokyo, and then the Japs would send their zeroed up to shoot them down. So we had to get that island there so the fighter planes could give them protection. So that was the reason. No. And I was there on the island there that one day, the first big B-29 come flying back, and it was on fire. And it made a crash landing on the island, on the airstrip number 1, and it just belly flopped across the sand. And later on, I found out that one of those guys on that thing there was a guy right from Peoria, Illinois, and I didn't even know it. Oh. He was in the Air Force, and he said, boy, I'm sure glad you saved all our lives. And I don't know, it saved a lot of lives by taking Iwo. I was only 1 out of thousands, so I was just glad to do my part, and that's what I felt like I did, and that's all I could do. Mm-hmm.
And you're wearing a medal on the left side of your chest today. Can you talk a little bit about your injuries, the ship you served on, and what happened?
Oh, yeah. Well, the first time on Guam there, I got hit with some shrapnel, just small. I didn't even really report it back then. So then I stayed there, and then later, about a couple of days later, I really got blasted. What it is, with my job, the sergeant would tell one of his men of the squadron, you go out and take the lead, you take the point. That means the first one out in front. So my job was to go out in front of the point guy. And then try to clear it up farther, down the road a ways. So it worked out pretty good though. We got along good together that way. And then I got hit there that second time on Guam real bad. And I lost so much blood, I couldn't even talk. I was so weak. So what I found out later, they was putting the ones that wasn't expected to live, they was putting them on an LST, which I was on, and then they were sending us out to sea to be buried. Well, I can remember laying in a basket, going from an LST to that big ship I got over there. I was in a basket looking down at the ocean, and then when I passed out, so then when I opened my eyes again, here's the chaplain giving me last rites, and he said, son, in less than 5 minutes, you'd have been in the ocean. So when he seen me open my eyes, I couldn't talk, so they run me back into the emergency ward and started working on me. Then they sent me down to Nemea, Caledonia, which I was in there for 6 months. Both arms was in cast, and I just couldn't do nothing for 6 months. And finally, a Red Cross lady came in, and she wrote a letter to my folks. And then my folks answered back to her and said they had got things from the War Department, missing in action, killed in action, and all that. And they didn't know what happened to me. So when I was down there in Nemea, Caledonia, I received my Purple Heart. It was on October 26th. Now, if it was just 2 days later, it would have been my 20th birthday. I got it on my dad's birthday, the 26th. So 2 days later, it would have been my 20th birthday. I was getting my second Purple Heart. So then when I left to go back up to join the outfit up in Guam, I got off of the ship about noon, I guess maybe Saturday afternoon or sometime, and the general said, don't unpack, we're going again. I said, well, okay. So we stayed there, and I went right into Iwo Jima from there. I said, well, I just got out of the hospital after being in there 6 months. What do you expect me to do? He said, well, you got to help all the other younger guys out that's never been in combat. We're trying to get all the guys who've seen action where there's, shells around them, so the other guys wouldn't know what to do to keep them from going hysterical, I guess. Anyway, that's what he told us. So, and that's what we did there then. There was no tree, nothing green grew on Iwo Jima, just all black sand. So when I was in Washington, D.C. this one time, my wife and I went to the Marine Corps Museum there, and I was talking about that. I was there, and I said, I got something you people don't have. And she said, oh, you mean the black sand? I said, oh, no, everybody's got that. I said, I got part of Mount Suribachi, the volcano where they raised a flag on Mount Suribachi. I don't know if it's here. Yeah, there it is. That's part of Mount Suribachi right there. I just cut it out of my Stanley knife, or not my Stanley, my Jim Bowie knife. And it's like a sandstone, it's real soft material. You can just cut real easy. And I told him I had this here, he said, wow, we don't have nothing like that. Everybody's got black sand. I said, yeah, I have too, but here's something that nobody's got. And he said, you're right, so, and that's where it was then. They wanted if they could have it. I said, well, maybe someday. I'll have to wait and see on that, though. So, I came in on Iwo Jima. The initial landing was the 19th of February. That was on a Monday. I came in on Wednesday because there were so many wounded and got killed from the 4th and the 5th Division. They had to take half of our division and bring them in. They sent the other half up to Okinawa, 3rd Division. So half of the 3rd, which I was then stayed at Iwo Jima, to help the 4th and the 5th out. So that's why we were there. And it was quite an ordeal, especially when you figure there's no water. And they had to be busy shipping water in night and day. When you got 20,000 Japanese and about 30,000, 40,000 Marines, it takes a lot of water just to keep somebody going. But they managed out all right. So I went up on Mount Suribachi I was there the 25th. That's the day they published the famous photograph that Joe Rosenthal took. He took that on the 23rd. And I was standing right next to Rosenthal when he took the picture of that flag.
It's right behind us.
Yeah, I was bumping shoulders with him. And he told me, he said, well, I'm going to send this into Guam. It's negative. He said, I don't know if anybody likes it or not, but I'm sending it in. So when Roosevelt seen that flag raised, he's the one that made it popular and used it for a war bond drive. And it became that was the best war bond drive they ever had. So I'm just glad I could have been there when they did some of that.
That picture too, that's the monument at the United States Marine Corps Memorial at Washington, D.C., right outside Arlington National Cemetery.
Yeah.
Mr. Schmidt was there when they took that picture. Amazing.
Yeah.
There's some notes in here about fish eyes and tomato juice.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, I'll tell you about that. I'll tell you that. It's a little story. I landed on Wednesday, and we still didn't know we had all them tunnels under Iwo all the way around. So I'm off going there about in the evening, it was getting close to 5, and I see these steps going down into a hole. So I go in there and I walk down there. There's a great big room down there. And what's piled on one side is a lot of gunny sacks. And I didn't know what, so I took my Jim Bowie knife, I cut it, and rice come flying out. Then they had sardine cans that looked like they're next to it. So I opened them up, and My God, when I opened that up, all that was there was a fish with 2 eyeballs looking at you. And I took the fish out of the can, see how big it was? That's how big he was, or just the head and the eyeballs. That's what they was eating. And then they was making sake out of the wine, out of the other stuff. So then another thing that was kind of fun in a way. I was with this one guy. He was a hillbilly from out of Tennessee. He said, I never went to school a day in my life. But he said, my grandpa and my dad, they made moonshine up in the mountains. And he said, you'd be surprised how many Internal Revenue guys are buried up there. He said, once they go up there, they don't come back out. So he said, I said, well, I'd like to go down and visit you sometime. So he said to me, if you come down, you better stay in my back pocket, because I don't do. I said, don't worry, you think I'm riding in your pocket. I ain't going to walk around. He said, they don't mess with nobody down there, he said. I'll be very honest with you, he said. They stick to their moonshine. So, and we was coming back to the United States to get discharged. There was just us 4 Marines and 11 crewmen of the LST. So the hillbilly said, oh, we got to have something to drink. I said, yeah, we do. So he went down to the casino to cook, and I don't know what he got, but he got a lot of stuff. And he come back, he said, told me to get off of one of those water kegs out of the raft. So I got the water keg out and brought it over to him, and he poured all this stuff in. And then in 2 days, it was bubbling over. He said, oh, he said, we could, because we had a typhoon and we lost 4 fellows in our LST, and we just bobbed around there for 30 days. Another LST had to pull us from Pearl Harbor, from Guam to Pearl Harbor. We were going about a mile an hour. So he said, well, we had a good time, just us 4 Marines. We was drunk, one of them was sober. he know how to make it. I don't know how he did it, but, oh, yeah, and it's one night, him and I were together in a, the thing you get in, you know, you're getting saved. Foxhole, I couldn't think of the word right off. So anyway, we put sticks in and then run a wire and took these little sea rats again and put little rocks in them. They went all the way around the perimeter. So if anybody sneak up in the night, they'd hit them things, we could hear a rattler sneaking up on us. Well, we're only about 350 feet from the Japanese are down at the bottom of the hill, and we're at the top of the hill. And 350 feet ain't very far in between. So, and then we're out here, this Japanese soldier saying, Marines eat sea ration, Marines eat sea ration. And this guy hollered out, Tojo eat shit, Tojo eat shit. And I'm telling you, I never laughed so hard in my life. Tojo was the head guy of all the Japanese forces in the Atlantic, in the Pacific. He was #1 man. But I never laughed so hard. I wasn't expecting anything like that to come out of some place. And they're down at the bottom, or at the top, and they're calling each other names. I never laughed. That's one good thing I had a good laugh at.
It boggles my mind that you're that close you can hear each other communicate.
Oh, yeah, about 350 feet. That ain't very far.
Becky has a couple of books in her hand. Can you speak about those?
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about this one for a moment?
Yeah.
And then I have this in here to read if you would like me to do that.
Yeah,
Go ahead, you go.
This book here is called Nightmare on Iwo. This is the second lieutenant who wrote this book, and he had wrote another article on the 25th anniversary of Iwo Jima. And I put a thing in the paper that we was having a 50th reunion of Iwo Jima at my house 50 years later. So this lady down in St. Louis, she sent me a paper that she had saved from the 25th anniversary, 25 years before that, want to know if I knew her brother or whoever it was she was looking for. I didn't know. But I'll look in the cemetery and see if I can find him, but I couldn't find him. So she thanked me in that. And then he wrote this book here. I'll let you. You want to read that?
You want me to read?
Yeah, that's what he wrote.
Go ahead. Want me to read it, or
Yeah.
would you like Dave to?
No, go ahead, you can read it. That's what he wrote in it for me.
Okay. Well, Dad saved Pat Caruso's life on Iwo Jima. And he wrote in his book, "To Karl, who risked his life to save mine. May God bless you always. Patrick Caruso, February 3rd, 2002.
I thought that was really nice of him to write that.
Yeah, and
He's got some articles written and
yeah,
pictures in there.
Interviewed Dad over the phone, and so it is in the book, and there's a picture of Dad with Jack Benny. And so it is on page, let's see, 130.
133.
Yeah, 133, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then, when our kids went to St. Thomas, they had sisters there. And so when they had parents talk to, the children, they said, what happened to you? Anything happened to your dad? And my son gets up and said, oh, yeah, you should see. My dad was bending over tying his shoestring and got shot right in the butt. And I've got a picture right here in the book to show it. Yep. Completely nude.
So do you want to show it?
Yeah, show it out. It is completely, how many veterans did had a picture taken in the nude and put in the magazine? That's a first for me.
He's taking a field bath out there on Iwo Jima, and there's a picture of his backside published. 19-year-old Mr. Karl Schmidt.
Yeah.
Karl Schmidt.
Yeah.
You gotta come see that up close. You can't unsee it.
And then on this other page is Dad with his moonshine buddy. So we happened to find that in this book also, and that was exciting.
Yeah.
It says in here about Patrick's note and Patrick's voice on the phone recording.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes long.
Oh, okay. We'll skip
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
Come up, there's lots of more stories. Come up if you have time afterwards and look through those books.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And then next is talking about being honorably discharged and what happened that day.
Well, that's when we was on our way home, and we hit that typhoon and lost 4 propellers. And it took us 30 days to get from Guam to Pearl Harbor. So, of course, we were drunk all the time, so it didn't make no difference to us what happened. So, we just lived it up. And I don't know how he made that stuff, but boy, it was sure good.
And he's not blind, and he still has a great brain. Amazing.
How they make it and what they make it out of, I don't know. Yeah.
It says here about your honorable discharge.
Oh, yeah, that's when I got my honorable discharge. Back in December of 1945. So that's when I got released from them. So that was my life short and lived. But I wanted to tell you a couple other things. I was there one day and the cooks came and they put a tent up. We were going to have hot food for a change. So he told me to go out and look for Buddy's boxes, whatever he wanted. I was looking around there. And I'm looking around, all of a sudden, wing, a ball flies by me. And I sit down on my butt. And then pretty soon I hear bing. I said, uh-oh. I got hit right in the head. There's blood running all the way down my helmet, all the way across here. And then I pulled my head out from underneath there and looked. And you never guess what happened. This Jap hit a can of tomato juice. Right over the top of me, about 4 inches above my head, he hit that can of tomato juice. And here comes that tomato juice spraying down. I had more odd things happen to me than I could think of.
Averted death that day.
Yeah.
You want
Wonderful.
to talk about the bullet in your shoulder and your shrapnel? The bullet in your shoulder and shrapnel? And also when you were in that foxhole in that torrential rain?
Oh, yeah. I can't think of everything. Sometimes you give me highlights.
On the foxhole, Twin Point.
Yeah, that's when I was going across airstrip number 1. I was carrying 2 boxes of machine gun ammunition, and all at once, a machine gun opens up on me. And I'm all by myself, right out in the middle of the airstrip. It's like being in a football field, right on the 50-yard line in the center. Bullets were flying all over. I'm scared crap. So I looked around to see, oh, here's a shell hole. So I hopped in there. It was about 3 foot deep. Then 3 times I would lift my head up and blow that machine gun to cut loose, fly over the top, and the bullets would fly over me. I was probably shot at more than 100 times. Because when they shoot a machine gun, there's a lot of bullets fly out at one time, and they go flying by, and I was shot at many, many, many times. Well, most of the guys are in groups, but I'm always out there by myself, so they can pick me off better. So, I'm glad it's over now, but I wouldn't want to go through it again.
No, sir.
No way. So that's pretty well ties it up pretty good there.
All right.
So we're really, really glad, Karl, that you survived all of that and you're here with us today. And we are going to observe a moment of silence for everyone who's not here with us today, that has gone before us or sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice defending our country. So just a few moments of silence. All right, and as it's appropriate, we'll stand for the playing of taps.
Take your hat off again. Take your hat off. All right, be seated. So wow, right? What just happened?
Yeah.
You know, I saw all kinds of shows over the weekend about Pearl Harbor and Iwo Jima, you know, honoring this documentaries and informative shows and videos, and it is not the same as sitting here listening to this. This is truly different than seeing it on TV or hearing it on a podcast or anything. So, you know, what an honor and a privilege that this is maybe a once in a lifetime opportunity for some of us to get to hear this firsthand. So Karl, we thank you so much
You're
for being
welcome.
here with us today.
Thank you for inviting
And
me.
I just want to say too, thank you to ICC for their support of the veteran students and the faculty and staff. We're really, really lucky to have a standalone office on campus strictly for questions and you know, servicing of our veteran faculty, staff, and you know, happy to say now even family members of veterans getting some help through the office here. So that's really, really nice. And it's not even an honor, it's really just a privilege to get to do this every single day. So thanks for braving the weather. And Karl would like to meet you if you want to come up and say hi to him, or even look through his stuff, check out his butt in the book. It's a great butt. And
And I was just gonna say, why don't we all join together and give Karl a stand?
absolutely.
That'd be happy.
Yes, thank you. Over 75 years.
Yes, thank you.